I like Toy Story. Recently, I've been making so many negative videos on my opinions on things I don't like that today it was time to do something positive and in turn talk about something I actually like. Meaning if you want to see me get angry about something, you should just probably watch another video or don't watch my channel today. I don't really care what you do, just this isn't the video for you. Because the Toy Story films are not only my favorite films of all time, but I also believe they make up the undisputed best film trilogy ever. And it'll remain that way until next year when it becomes a quadrilogy, or is that the right word? Nope, it's called a tetralogy apparently, but I've literally never heard anyone use that word before. Anyway, back to what I was saying, because on a genuine note, can you name another trilogy where not only all the films are good, but they all improve upon each other as well? Because I guess you've got the original Star Wars trilogy, but I've never met anyone who prefers Return of the Jedi to Empire Strikes Back. There's Lord of the Rings, but they're just based off books, so they don't really count. The Dark Knight trilogy, the original Spider-Man trilogy, the Godfather, what do they all have in common? The middle one is always the best. But Toy Story is different because Toy Story 3 isn't worse than Toy Story 2. Like, yeah, people have a different preference on which is their favorite one, but there's no denying they all improve on each other. And with Toy Story, I'm yet to meet someone who likes one of them and doesn't like the others. You know, I'm yet to meet someone who doesn't like all of them at all. And if someone did tell me they didn't like them, let's just say
they wouldn't be heard of again.
And it's clear to see why, because Toy Story was so revolutionary in being the first ever computer animated film. And it's changed the animation genre forever. Like, who makes 2D animation films anymore? Disney? And not only is it incredible what the creators achieved, but it's objectively a good film. From a storytelling standpoint, it was genuinely a good story based around a creative idea. Which, as you may know, for me, the key thing when it comes to a film is to have a good idea, because if it doesn't have a good idea, I'm not gonna like it. No matter how good the film is, I'm just not. Simple as. One of the reasons why I love Pixar's early movies so much is because they have such good ideas and they're all basically based around the exact same story template. What if this thing had a world of its own? And they do this in all of their early films, whether it be Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, Cars. You catch my drift. And in my opinion, and I think you'll agree, the Toy Story films are a perfect representation of what toys would actually be like if they did come to life when we left the room. As these films explain how they deal with every single aspect of things toys would have to go through. Being played with, replaced, stolen, broken, lost, grown out of, the lot. You know, associate with Buzz and Woody and all the characters because they're not just all good or all bad, they have faults and relatable personalities. And because the films aren't as simple as things just getting resolved when they go wrong, you get to grow with them as characters as they learn to come to terms with things the way they are, and that's a great metaphor for life. Because as I'm sure you all know, things don't always go your way, and if you don't, what's your life? Also, the soundtrack in the films is phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie to you, but every now and again, I listen to the songs in my free time.
I was on top of the world, living high, was right in my pocket. When she loved me, we belong together.
Honestly, I don't know what more there is to say. From whatever angle you look at it, these films are well-crafted masterpieces, and that's not even exaggerating. There's no other way of putting it, and rightfully so. When it comes to critical acclaim, these films are second to none. According to Rotten Tomatoes, the weak link in the trilogy is 99%. Rotten Tomatoes is a joke. Toy Story 3 should be 100% as well. What is this? Who gave this negative review? Okay, well, the first guy gave it a C+, and I'm sorry, but that's a pass. Like, it's not the best grade in the world, but that's not a fail, so let's make that fresh. This next guy, Jeremy Heilman, gave it 44 out of 100, which is a weird way to rank a film because who ranks films out of 100? The only way I'd justify ranking out of 100 is if you have 10 different categories about the film that you rank out of 10 that add up to 100. So let's see if that's what he's done. No, never mind, he just wrote 44 at the bottom of the page. He didn't even write out of 100, so technically this could be out of 10, and 44 out of 10 is a pretty good score if you ask me, so let's make that fresh! Anyway, I think I should rebuttal some genuine criticism, so let's move on to review 3. When someone lets you down, it becomes that much easier to say goodbye. This is how admirers of the Toy Story series may wish to rationalize any ambivalence towards Toy Story 3. Okay, to anyone who didn't understand what that meant because they don't speak nerd, he basically said that people who aren't sure whether they like the film or not decide to like it because that's how people deal with things, apparently. Which is just completely wrong. Like, the general public didn't come out of Toy Story 3 thinking, oh, it wasn't bad, I didn't dislike it. No, they genuinely loved the film. You can intellectualize and even defend the reasons why the film is disappointing, but that doesn't stop it being disappointing. So you're basically saying, even if you have a good, intelligent reason for liking the film, you're wrong. This line is basically the review equivalent of someone getting beaten in an argument and then saying, well, just because. He's thrown up because I said so out there. Like, that's what he's done. He hasn't really given any valid reason for why the film isn't good, so his argument's invalid. It doesn't count. And I would go into the final review in a lot of detail, but quite frankly, I don't want to subject you to it. This is by a guy called Almond White, whose reviews are known for just going against popular opinion, like, that's all he does. And let me just give you a taste of some of the rubbish he comes up with. Toy Story 3 is so besotted with brand names and product placement that it stops being about the innocent pleasures of imagination, the usefulness of toys, and strictly celebrates consumerism. Yep, I agree. The fact Barbie and Ken are in the film just completely ruins it. And then he says it's got the same plot, but it's done worse than Transformers 2. Yeah. That one. So does his opinion really count? Anyway, that was an extremely long tangent, and I still don't feel like I've really answered the question why I like Toy Story. Because, like, yeah, it's really good, but why is it my favorite film to such an extent that it's my bio on Instagram and my pinned tweet on Twitter? I only said that so I could plug my social media so you could follow me. And honestly, it's so much more than the films having a good story with good animation and good music, because I was obsessed with these films as a kid when I was too young to appreciate all that stuff. And well, the reason I loved it as a child and still love it today is because I feel like it was about me. It obviously wasn't, because I wasn't born when the film came out, but you know what Andy was like as a kid? That's what I was like as a kid. I played with my toys and created these stories with them, and I just kind of wish they had this life outside of me. I don't know how old I was when I first saw the Toy Story films. I was probably like 3 or 4, and I just had an instant connection to Andy and the toys in the film. And just as soon as I was about to become a teenager and wasn't a child anymore, so wasn't playing with my toys anymore, they released the 3rd installment, which was then about Andy who had grown out of his toys and about the toys moving on. And it was like I was 3 or 4 again, and I was instantly hooked. The whole overarching story was so relatable to me, and I have such a deep-rooted connection with the characters in the film. And for that reason, even if Toy Story 4 is a complete flop, the original Toy Story films will always be my favorite films, because I don't think I'll ever have such a strong connection to any other films again. And that is why I like Toy Story. That went deep. I just went way too personal there, so I'm just gonna end this video now. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking here. You can watch another video by clicking here. I'm saying this really quickly. You can check out my other social medias here and in the description down below. You can also check out my merch here in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
You got a friend in me. You got a